On this week's episode of Top of the List, we're coming at you with some new gear and a new microphone. So, definitely catering to our audio listening group on our podcast. Of course, right now speaking, this is Dom, and followed by my host, Ryan Barnett, better known as RB. Say hi to the folks, RB.
Hello, hello. Excited to be bringing you this enhanced audio recording here of Top of the List with our new JLab microphone. Big fans of this piece of technology. Really excited to be bringing this, as we said, optimized audio to you, the listeners at home.
Yeah, and it sounds really great. We did a couple tests, and we're hoping you guys can maybe leave some feedback down below. Did this make an improvement for you? If you listen on podcasts, maybe let us know in the DMs. Of course, our Instagram and our Twitter handles are in the description down below. So please read that and follow us. Send us some DMs. Let us know what we're doing right on top of the list. So with that said, let's start with the topic of this week's episode, Power Broker, which is the third episode of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier that premiered this Friday. I think we should start off like we always do. We're going to go ahead and drop our score, right, out of 10, and we'll give our general thoughts, and then we should go right into spoilers, because I think there's quite a few spoilers in this one that we could be discussing. But yeah, I've been talking way too long. RB, go right ahead, man.
Yeah, still nothing really wowing me about this show. Very disappointed as such, but feeling very much, and really what this show is a Captain America film without Captain America. Of course, we do have our new Captain America, whose name I'm not remembering, but he's there. Not in many scenes, because it is not Captain America, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's just Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But otherwise, I mean, Falcon, cool character, cool supporting superhero. Winter Soldier, cool supporting superhero. But putting them together on the screen does not have the star power that we had when we had Chris Evans, right, as Captain America. So that's kind of been a bummer for me. I mean, it's a well-made show. It's good, and that's the key word I'm going to keep coming back to. Good. 7 out of 10 for me. Nothing really wowed me about this episode. I was along for the ride. Some cool action sequences, some cool exposition, a cool villain this week, without going too far into the spoilers. 7 out of 10.
For sure. And of course, we would be remiss if we did not talk about in the title of our show. We have Top of the List. Where does this one sit? Where are you ranking it among the first 3 episodes? We're recording this as it premieres.
Yeah.
What are you thinking? Is this the worst one so far? Is it
I was so disappointed with our premiere. So our premiere is definitely the bottom of my list. I preferred last week's episode. I think I gave it a 7.5.
Yeah.
A little bit better.
Yeah, totally.
I really did like getting to know more about our new Captain America, who seemed to be rather absent in this episode. So I'll put this one right in the middle of the pack of the first 3. It's number 2. Top of my list would be episode 2. And then down at the bottom of my list was the series premiere of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
How come I can never remember the scores I've given to past episodes, but I can remember the scores you've given to past things?
Yeah, I feel like both of your scores were 8.5, if I'm not mistaken, or an 8 and an 8.5.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think last week I gave it an 8.
Okay, and the week prior you gave it an 8.5.
Yeah, because I don't know. I feel like the episode 1 and 2 were interchangeable. I like them both about the same.
Okay.
Yeah, so they probably received about the same score. And then for me in the episode 3, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a lot of deliberation in this one. Not quite sure about a few things. I was thinking a few really strong moments that stood out for me in this one that I don't want to share until we get into spoilers. But overall, I thought this one was a major improvement over the last 2 episodes. I felt like this was, I'm going to try to be a little vague here. I think we've talked about it before, Ryan. I think you said when you were giving your score, you said this feels more like a Captain America movie. I don't know. To me, this feels like something that's becoming totally different. It feels like some espionage thriller that has this really unique art style. It's like John Wick plus, Marvel movies. It's really becoming amazing. And, our keyword, of course, is amazing there. I'm I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
I even considered giving it a 9.5. That at some points I was really surprised by the ending in this one. Not going to give that away.
Yeah.
But man, a lot of great moments, a lot of great comedy, some of the best jokes of the series that we've seen thus far, some of the greatest character dialogue moments, and some of the greatest action in the series. As a matter of fact, you know what? Official score, I think I'm going to go 9.5 out of 10, actually. I really think the action scenes push this one above the others. Hand-to-hand combat was so fantastic in this one, so check this one out just for the hand-to-hand combat scenes. They were fantastic this week. So that's going to conclude our spoiler section, unless you have anything to close it off with, RB.
Yeah, no, I just really couldn't disagree with you more about this. I know we've discussed, we have very differing opinions on some Marvel films and other projects of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And this is one that I think we're going to be disagreeing on all season long. I have not been a fan of this series, beg your pardon. And where you've said you see it as something completely new, I see this as something that's been done quite a bit with Captain America, the First Avenger, but more so with Captain America and the Winter Soldier and Captain America Civil War. Just getting a lot of recalls with that from me, except for instead of Sam and Cap, it's Bucky and Cap, or instead of Bucky and Cap, it's Sam and Bucky. It's not really doing anything special for me like WandaVision did. WandaVision was something completely different, something completely new that we had never seen before. We talked about that. My scores were much higher for WandaVision for the most part. So far here, I just feel like we've taken Marvel film and cut it up into 9 episodes, turned it into a series.
Yeah, I think that I'm a little surprised by this, Ryan, because normally you tend to strafe towards the would we say more realistic of the stuff in the MCU. You were very in our MCU series, you discussed your dislike of Doctor Strange, right?
Yes.
You really did not like that, and you said it felt like it went totally too supernatural or too mystical or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I mean, sorcerers.
Exactly.
And we talked about it in this series as well with what did they say? Sorcerers, androids, whatever the big three are.
Yeah.
Yes. And the part where we start having the explanation is magic really didn't sit well with me. It didn't sit well with me at the end of WandaVision as well. Hopefully that wasn't a spoiler for any of you who haven't watched WandaVision yet.
Yeah.
But when you start explaining superpowers simply by saying magic, it's not a radioactive spider that bit Peter Parker. It's not gamma radiation that got Bruce Banner. It's not this suit that was built in, as Tony Stark is being held hostage in the Middle East. It's just, why do they have powers? Because magic. That sort of gets on my nerves. But where I do see where you're saying it, this is definitely a far more realistic take.
As opposed to WandaVision, which was more of that supernatural, more of that mystical thing, which you turned out liking a lot more. And I was very pleased to see that you enjoyed that. But turns out this one isn't kind of hitting the realistic spot that I thought it would for you, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and cut here to some spoilers, because I want to go.
How's that sounding on the mic now?
Oh, sounds fantastic. Wow, really, really clear. Everybody's going to know.
Nice. This is our spoiler alerts.
It's time to talk spoilers here on top of the list. So let's go right into it. One more time, our scores, RB. What was your score?
So 7 out of 10 for me.
And a 9.5 for me. But I mean, maybe Ryan can point out some flaws and I could weave back down to the 9 that I kind of started out at. Definitely for me, though, I'd say an amazing episode. I thought so. And let me start off with the reason why I thought this was amazing. And that's Zemo.
Yeah.
He is magnificent. Every second he's on the screen, he is so amazing in this episode.
He is without a doubt the reason I did not give this a 5 or a 6 out of 10.
Right.
He saved this episode, a key redeeming factor, a brilliant performance. Really excited to see a recall to this character who has not the same motivations per se, but a similar connection we feel towards his plight in Captain America, the Civil War, as the Flag Smashers. It's a villain that we can understand why they are taking these actions and we can empathize with them, which is what made Zemo such a great villain. And now we're seeing the Flag Smashers in a similar position here in this series. There's someone who we can empathize with. These are people who have been displaced once the blip happened. From my understanding, maybe you caught it a little differently. These are people who lived on during the blip, and as soon as people returned, these people who had picked up jobs and found new places to live while living through the blip were just told, okay, everyone's back, get out. And they've been displaced to these refugee camps.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think you went a little too far there. I was hoping, do you have your phone on you?
I do not know.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yes.
Maybe I was hoping we could look up the actor that plays Zemo,
Mhm.
but do you remember his name or no?
I
Oh,
do
okay.
not. I mean, let me step away momentarily.
Oh, hold on. All right, so after a brief intermission, we were able to find out the actor for Baron Zemo, and that is Daniel Bruhl. And he is does he have, I think he might have some awards or something. I remember him being in an Oscar-winning role at some point, some sort of Oscar-nominated film, I think. But he's been in a lot of great films. He's won a lot of awards. I think I've seen him in something, but I can't
Yeah,
quite
he was in Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
That's what I'm definitely remembering him from. Which we talked about in our Tarantino review, which you guys can also check out there. Shameless plug. But yeah, Daniel Bruhl is fantastic in this. And like Ryan was saying, he plays the character with so much depth and so much, like you understand his motivations. You understand his logic. You understand his reasons for believing and the things he believes and what he says. You're like, okay, I can actually agree with what he's saying. He's not wrong. And that's the strongest part. And like you said, it really does relate to the Flag Smashers because we also got a lot of backstory in this one about how they're trying to better the world. They want to not better the world, but they want to help the people, like you were saying, help the people that are dislocated, right? Which kind of links me back here to this first scene that we open with. What's this, name of this group that we're...
The Global Repatriation
Global Relocation Council. GRC.
Correct. Yes.
Global Relocation Council. And we got a name drop of this last week. Very briefly. Had no idea what it meant. I was like, okay, I don't know what GRC is.
Yep.
We get a commercial at the beginning of this episode, of course, which leads into a interesting, let's say interesting scene with the new Captain America and Battlestar, which is
who is no longer being referred to as Battlestar.
No, Lamar Hoskins. Yes, Lamar Hoskins. How come we can remember Lamar Hoskins but not Captain America?
Yeah.
Maybe you could look it up.
Because they refer to him as Cap at this point. Let's see. Captain America Walker. So Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker. Right. We were making that joke last time. We're bad people. We can't remember from episode to episode. Okay, so yeah, John Walker. So we get this great scene. We find out that, of course, he is in charge of the GRC, or he's working with the GRC. What was your take?
We have this excellent juxtaposition of this GRC commercial.
Right.
Very bright,
very stylish,
vibrant.
The directing in this episode is fantastic.
Yes, I think. Absolutely. So bright, vibrant commercial, very multicultural. And then we get a cut from this, final title card that says GRC to a black van that says GRC with soldiers jumping out, led by Lamar Hoskins and John Walker, Captain America, storming one of these, if I'm not mistaken, or it's not one of the one of the refugee camps, but it's one of the places that has been hiding out the Flag Smashers, correct?
It's where they were hiding out last
week. Yes.
Yes. So, and we pick up right there. And the most interesting aspect of this, besides the fact that it ends with, we don't really see, John Walker or his group for the rest of the episode.
Right. We see him in one scene where he's at the prison that Zemo is broken out of, just saying that this is what Sam and Bucky did.
Okay.
That's the one other scene that he and Lamar Hoskins are in.
Okay, yeah. So, but he doesn't really play a part other than that, right?
Correct.
So, I think that other than the fact that he's after Bucky and Sam, that he's tracking them down and stuff like that, and trying to follow the leads they're following. The biggest takeaway for me here was this: we can see the evil slowly creeping out of John Walker in one kind of short exchange where they're questioning this guy, And then he asked for Hoskins to translate, and kind of says, look at what America's become, brutes. And then of course, he spits in Captain America's face, and he says, "You know who I am." And it's really about that's the main thing they're trying to hammer home with this John Walker character. He just wants to be seen as Captain America. He wants to be respected, but no one will respect him.
Right.
And I think that can
drive a person.
That I was going to say, this could
turning.
turning to be a villain, and I think that could be a great villain.
Yep,
seeing him face off, that would be great.
And I think we got.
I'm sorry
that a
if
little
I was
bit.
trying to locate my thoughts.
Right, no worries. I think we did get that though last week. We started saying the way Bucky and Sam have been treating him almost as bullies, like he's the new kid on the block, and that this could lead to him turning rather than the three of them working together. Because we really do. I mean, at least at the beginning, like John Walker. I mean, he's a true hero. He's not a super soldier.
He's a very charismatic guy. Yep. The guy that plays him is charismatic, which is really great. And I don't know. I just felt like it was really aggressive when he pushes him back there and he says, you know who I am? Like, I feel like he's like at that breaking point. Like, he's one bad moment away from going off the deep end. And I love that he's playing that.
Right. But we're talking about transitioning into the darkness and going evil. How about in this episode, we see Bucky reenacting his persona as the Winter Soldier, and we see some of the evil creep back into him. We have a great line from Zemo saying, "Didn't take him too long to get back."
This is a great theme that's going to be showing up throughout the show. Bucky's time in Wakanda, did it actually, change him, or is there still a piece of the Winter Soldier left within him? Right. And that's a big question for the character, and it's one of the most compelling aspects of the show, I think. But let's backtrace a little bit to, I just want to give a great shout out here to whoever's the cinematographer or director of photography and the director. The reveal of Zemo is so incredible. I don't know about you, but I was getting huge Silence of the Lambs vibes.
Absolutely. Yep.
And
Anthony
emerging
Hopkins,
out of the darkness Baron Zemo. And I thought, I was thinking in the hallway when Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan are talking to each other and they're like, oh yeah, go around the corner of the hallway. I was like, oh, okay, are we going to get like a Silence of the Lambs moment? And I'm like, what would happen in a Silence of the Lambs moment? And I was like, oh, he's going to say the words to try to activate the mind control. And sure enough, the screen goes black and you just hear the words and then his face emerges out. Oh my God. Just one of the greatest villain reveals I've seen in MCU history. Really fantastic.
I mean, we were so excited when we heard that Zemo would be making an appearance in Falcon and Winter Soldier last week. And, of the things that I didn't like in this episode, I think the performance of Daniel Bruhl as Zemo was truly excellent, a great addition to the show.
And let me know if you agree with this, Brian. Let me know if you agree with this. One of the best, I don't know if you saw this aspect of it, but one of the best aspects that I think we've got to see for the first time in this episode with the Baron Zemo character was Daniel Bruhl is really playing this kind of evil Bruce Wayne persona, right?
Okay.
You know what he's saying? You know what I'm saying? Like, we find out he's really rich. He used to be royalty, right?
Well, in Sokovia, correct?
In Sokovia, yes. Right. That's why he's a baron.
Right.
And then, of course, we get to his private jet where he has his older gentleman butler who he befriends. He's definitely evil Bruce Wayne. The reason why he became, the Baron von Strucker or whatever they call him, the villain, whatever his villain name is going to be, the Baron, or let's say that's what it is.
Right.
The Baron. What causes him to do that is the death of his family, the same as Bruce Wayne was the death of his parents. I kind of was putting those together.
I don't know that I saw that. I just saw a very common, not common necessarily because he has a story,
totally unique though.
We have a lot of multi-millionaire villains.
Yeah, and it's totally unique though. I thought it was. Yeah, no, you're right. But there is multi-millionaire villains. Lex Luthor. You're right. Luthor, yeah. It was kind of a Lex Luthor-esque thing, but Daniel Bruhl makes it play so unique, and
absolutely
the delivery of the lines. Can we talk about one of my favorite scenes? If not, as a matter of fact, besides if we're not talking action scenes, my favorite scene, these gentlemen, Sam, Bucky, and Zemo, all sitting in this plane. I thought, oh, this is going to be boring. We're just going to get an exposition dump. It is the most entertaining and suspenseful thing. Like, it goes from funny to Bucky's going to tear Zemo's head off to back to, some sad things about Bucky to back to funny with, this Marvin Gaye setup about Steve and everything like that. And then we're contemplating the meaning of the shield. And The dialogue in this episode for me was what really made it amazing. I thought they did a great job with the dialogue, better than the last few episodes. It was way too corny in the few lines in these last two episodes. This episode, I feel they really nailed it. Do you agree with that, or?
Like I said, I think the dialogue that was given by Daniel Bruhl as Zemo was excellent.
Especially the scene on the plane is awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, really, anything to me given by any of our characters. Really, we have a big reveal. Sharon Carter appears in this episode.
Yeah, that's the next big spoiler.
Yeah. Sam.
She's great in this episode, I thought too. I just like Sharon Carter.
Sam, Bucky. To me, none of them had any lasting impact in this episode besides Daniel Bruhl. I was rather disappointed by the performance of our main cast, less Baron Zemo.
Okay. So let's go right into that next big spoiler. So of course, Sam, Bucky, Zemo, all working together, and we get to this new location. I know we're going to disagree again here, but Madripoor is, I've been kind of seeing online a lot of people mentioning Madripoor as a city from the X-Men comics. That's about as much as I know of it from the comics. I'll definitely read up on it for next week's episode and get back to it. But, Madripoor is somehow connected to X-Men, and we keep getting these hints that maybe we'll be getting X-Men integrated into the MCU at some point. Hopefully that's soon. I definitely love the X-Men. But besides that note, we get introduced to this new location, Madripoor. This is a cool sequence because we get to see this really cool neon-baked city. It felt like a Blade Runner. It felt like a really cool Blade Runner-esque moment. And it also felt a lot like John Wick, kind of those two combined. A lot of like the neon lights, the blue, the purple, the pink. And for me, the cinematography of these fight scenes that we engage in Madripoor were really, really cool. Some cool gunplay and some, like you mentioned earlier, when Bucky gets to go crazy again as his, he's pretending to be the Winter Soldier, like he's under mind control. Really cool scenes there. But I just kind of want to, I guess, let's find out what's your takeaway, RB.
So my biggest problem with Madripoor.
Yeah,
Madripoor. I want to say Madrigal from Breaking Bad. But Madripoor
yeah.
was the way they set it up.
Okay.
The way they set it up, it's this tiny island off the coast of Indonesia, and it's been a pirate, hangout since the 1800s. I expected truly a remote island, and we get there, and it looks like the Hong Kong skyline. I mean, if we're calling it a small island, I wasn't expecting a big metropolitan urban center as it looked. We get that great scene of them, as you mentioned, going across the bridge, coming out on the other end and seeing that big reveal of the neon lights in the city and the skyline. I mean, personally, the fight sequences, they were big action fight sequences. I think there's another fight sequence that you and I both agree was better in the scene. I didn't think there was nearly as much hand-to-hand combat in this one sequence. It was just sort of large mobs of people and lots of shooting, and somehow our heroes survive. I was disappointed with it.
Okay. But I really like, did you like to see the part where Bucky had to pretend to be the Winter Soldier?
Yes, obviously, and I spoke to that earlier. I think just getting to see that and not knowing, as we mentioned earlier, what part of the Winter Soldier still lives in Bucky and how much of it is acting was an impressive sequence.
Yeah, and I have one big complaint in this sequence here in Madripoor. This is kind of my biggest nitpick with the episode. I thought it was really dumb when Sam's phone vibrates in the middle of this really important meeting they have, and then they make him answer it. Come on, what are we doing here? We couldn't have just cut that part out and have her be assassinated during the conversation or something before. Like, do we really think that Sam, ex-military specialist, a guy that's
he's gonna sit there with his iPhone on?
He's sitting there with his iPhone on so everyone can hear it. Come on. That was a big nitpick for me in this one. Did not like that. They could have easily cut that out. It was just to be funny, I guess, but it really wasn't that funny, and it wasn't that big of a deal for a joke. Sometimes they do that, and I don't like it when they do that in Marvel movies. That's the biggest negative I can say about Marvel studios and the MCU in general, is they will sacrifice something for a joke, and I don't like that sometimes. So that's my biggest complaint. But moving forward, like you said, we get to meet Sharon Carter. We get some more background there. And then, of course, our biggest next reveal is, of course, has to surround the super serum, right?
Right, yes.
And the creator of it.
Yes, so we do meet the creator of our super serum, who is brought in by first Hydra.
Yes.
And then when Hydra dissolved, probably after Winter Soldier, correct?
Yes.
Or is that Civil War?
Winter Soldier. Yeah.
After Winter Soldier, the CIA, someone who's hired to create a super soldier serum. He synthesizes the blood from this character Isaiah that we met a week ago, creates this serum, and then disappears in the blip, returns 5 years later to see all of his work is gone. So he creates these vials as he's hired in Madripoor by this power broker, which not really sure why the episode was titled this. Is we didn't deal all that much with the power broker in this episode.
Just the building of this reputation, the building of the mystery. I'm glad you bring up the power broker, Ryan. Let me get my thoughts in on this one. I'm really intrigued that now we're going to be wondering, who is the power broker? Is it Sharon Carter? Is it, is it Zemo all along? Is it someone that we don't know? Is it someone that we've already seen? Who is the power broker? I'm really interested to see who's behind it.
Yes.
Kind of like we never got the reveal, except for, it was Agatha in WandaVision. I kind of want that kind of reveal, like who's behind this. And I really am interested to find out. And I just want to say, this is the strongest aspect of the episode for me. This is why I'm giving it an amazing. I kind of want to explain my reasoning here, why I'm giving it an amazing score. And that's because it really brought everything from the first 2 episodes that we were like, well, where are we going with this? And it really brought in, we learned what the reasoning was behind bringing the super serum together. We learned why we were learning about Isaiah in the last episode. We get every answers to just enough to keep us saying, okay, now I get the direction we're heading in. I'm really satisfied with what we got this week. It ratcheted up the pace a lot. In this, I don't know. I have a feeling you want to rebut me here.
Yeah, I disagree. I feel like we're just adding more and more pieces to this story that is still quite vague.
I don't think so. All the pieces are coming together.
I don't necessarily understand who the power broker is.
That we're not supposed to.
But then how can you say that it's revealing?
It's just this power that has control over Madrigal. Not Madripoor.
Yes, it's
I did the
not
same.
Gus Fring. Yeah. I don't care. Maybe that's the point. I'm finally getting around to understanding who the Flag Smashers are, and now we have another new villain, the Power Broker. But we also have Zemo, and we also have Sharon Carter, who may be a villain, and maybe. Okay, I
had a feeling these Flag Smashers are a red herring. They're just,
well,
they seem like the good guys.
They
honestly.
Get really humanized in this episode. We have this great dialogue between the leader of the Flag Smashers and her second in command, where she's talking about, I wanted to be a teacher, just like, Mama Donya, who we see pass away, who was obviously someone who was very close to the leader of the Flag Smashers, who dies of tuberculosis. The reason why they're stealing these vaccines and bringing them to these refugee camps, as the wealthy who were not displaced are just sitting on these supplies and not utilizing them. Something that's quite poignant today as well with the COVID-19 vaccine.
And then she takes it a little too far and explodes the car, right? With all the people inside that building and that scene as well.
It shows us her intentions, but it also shows us that she truly is a terrorist.
Right, exactly. And I love the aspect. It really deepened it. Like I said, it's bringing the questions that we had more into the light, and I love the pace that they're bringing it at. I was afraid we weren't going to learn more about the villains for another few episodes. Apparently, we're almost at the halfway point with this one, and to me, I was really pleased with what we got in this episode. Now, of course, let's talk about the fight scene. I think we mentioned earlier. We got to give a huge shout out to Sharon Carter actress Emily Van Cap and whoever her stunt double is, because there are some phenomenal hand-to-hand combat scenes with her.
Absolutely. This sequence, for those of you who have watched the episode, of course, taking place in bay of shipping containers,
where they find the
doctor who has recreated this super soldier serum. But of course, there are always great fight sequences in these shipping container yards.
Of course,
And every bounty hunter in Madripoor is after this group for quote unquote killing Selby. who is executed later in this episode. And there's a big bounty on everyone's head. And she just single-handedly takes down every one of these bounty hunters.
Starts off with like the pole from one of the shipping containers, then advances to like a pistol, to an assault rifle, to a knife. It's really great.
Yeah.
And
great cinematography as well, as we follow, almost getting a POV as if we're right behind Sharon Carter, running with her and, backing her up, watching her back.
One cut take, just, a long take of her just fighting this guy, railing on this guy, and the blood and gore. I love seeing blood and gore. It reminds me that, yes, we are watching Marvel and they take it seriously. It's not being muddied down by Disney, even though it's on Disney Plus. I love seeing blood and gore. I love seeing Emily Van Camp throw knives at people. It's kind of hot. I don't know. Some people don't find her hot, but I do.
That she completely impales the guy on at the very end. The final guy, she takes this pole.
That was Bucky, actually.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, I'm trying to figure out how she had the strength. It was his metal arm.
It was Bucky.
Yeah, but that was crazy, too.
That was awesome, too. Yeah. Sebastian Stan, too. He's hot, too, man. But yeah, so some great fight scenes there. And then, of course, we get a surprise where Zemo just shoots the guy that created the serum in the head after they learn the information they need.
Right.
Shoot him in the head. And all of a sudden, boom, everything's on fire. Everything's exploding. Zemo's nowhere to be found. Bucky and Sam are in the middle of a fight, and they have some, buddy cop comedy back and forth banter.
And how it's always done in an action movie.
Always done in an action movie.
Or an action series here on the MCU.
There you go. So we get a little bit back and forth, and then we get a great entrance with Zemo wearing his mask.
Yep, his
comic accurate mask.
Yep.
That's the way he looks in the comics with the purple mask. And we get a really cool shot of him just one-shotting this giant friggin'
gas tank. Yeah, that just blows up everyone in the vicinity.
Yeah.
Lots of explosions in this episode.
Yeah, a lot of it. Yes, I agree. A lot of explosions in this episode. And then, so after we're done there, Sharon Carter says goodbye, or at least for now.
Yeah, get me the pardon, I think she says. And because Sam asked her to come back from Madripoor to the state. She said, they'll arrest me, get me a pardon and I'll think about it.
Right. So hopefully we'll see more of her in the series. But let's talk about now. We're headed away, and we're trying to meet up with Carly. We're heading head on head with our, villains at this point.
Real quickly.
Yes.
Just the one thing we missed about Sharon Carter.
Yes.
Remember, after they escape from that shipping container, she gets in a car and she says, we have a big problem. Well, actually, two. I'll tell you about it on the ride. And we don't know who she was speaking with there, but at least I was assuming this is someone who works for the power broker. I don't think she's the power broker.
Yes.
But someone, she gets in the car with another woman and is basically briefing them on Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Agreed. I think she's either working for the power broker, or she is the power broker. Yes. Or somehow she was talking to maybe Carly, because all of a sudden Carly knows that the guy that created the super serum is dead. I don't know how she got that information so quickly in the scene.
True.
Following.
I mean, she did. We do know that she knew him because she stole the super serum from him.
Yeah.
And the power broker.
So, of course, we have them going separate ways, right. And we have our heroes heading into our villain, the Flag Smashers.
Yep.
Right. With, I guess they're meeting at where the mother died. Right?
Yes, in Riga.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes. So they're gonna meet there, and they make it there to their destination. But Bucky goes and splits.
Yeah, he says, "I'll be right back. I'm gonna go for a walk."
Yeah,
because he sees something.
Yeah, and we get a split, and Bucky finds like a bead on the floor. Mm-hmm. It's like a little metal ball, and we're like, okay, what the heck is this? And then there's beeping, and he follows the beeping, and he finds another metal ball, yep. And he walks down an alley. And I was really hyped when I saw it. This is what made me want to give it a 9.5, just because I love it. But he walks down this alley, and he says, "I knew you would be coming," or something along the lines of that. Mm-hmm. And we get the reveal that we have a Wakanda guard, the Okoye's people.
Yes, correct. It is not Okoye.
Dora Milaje.
Yes,
something
correct.
Like
the warriors.
Dora Milaje or something like
warriors
that.
of Wakanda. The all-female warriors who are sworn to protect the throne of Wakanda.
I think they're called the Dora Milaje or something like that.
Yeah, I have the exact name here. I wasn't going to try and pronounce it. Yeah, Dora Milaje Io.
Yeah, that's
it. And Io is, I'm assuming, her name. So
Io. Yeah, so cool. So we get her from Wakanda, and for me, this just feels like, oh yeah. When I heard the Black Panther music chime and the you know, the you know when they chant.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, dude, I got so hyped. Okay, now it feels like we're watching something that's part of the MCU, and I know that you disagree, but that's how
Yeah,
I
I
felt,
mean,
man. I
it
can't
was
can't feel any other
exciting. I
way.
mean, I think they hit us in the face with this was coming because they specifically called back to it in the episode and said Wakanda is going to want them. You think that they forgot that he killed T'Challa, of course, referring to
Right.
Zemo.
I
So we knew
didn't
they
I
were
didn't
going to
know
show
they
up.
were actually going to
Oh,
show up.
I assumed
It
as much.
was a kind of
They
surprise
also
for me,
kind
and
of
I
smacked
liked
us
it.
in the face that Sharon Carter was going to show up with last episode. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
Oh,
already
they
knew that
branded her
before
an
it
enemy of the
started, though.
state. Yeah. So
I already knew before that she had been
oh, see,
announced,
I didn't
and
know
she's
that.
on the front poster, like
See,
in the
you know stuff like this that I don't.
She's in the trailer.
I didn't even remember who Sharon Carter was. You
Okay.
had to remind me last week.
For sure. Yeah,
So.
yeah. Okay. And then I think that's it, right?
Yep.
We ended right on Wakanda. Where do you think we're gonna go with Wakanda now involved? How is this gonna happen? The Dora Milaje.
It is going to be an interesting ride. I don't know which way Bucky's going to sway because Wakanda has done a lot for him, and I'm curious to see where they go with the Dora, whatever. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Wakandan female warriors.
Yeah.
Chasing after Zemo and what side Bucky is going to be on, because remember, Bucky was the one that broke Zemo out of the prison. So we have now,
but they clearly need Zemo, so
right,
there's a lot
so
of conflict
we've
there.
got
I like
Bucky,
that
Sam, and Zemo. Let's see, being chased by most likely the Power Broker.
Okay.
Captain America and his team, the new Captain America, John Walker.
Yeah.
Now possibly the Wakandans.
Yeah, they're being chased down. If not,
at least Zemo
they've already chased them down.
Correct. Well, we'll see. They've sent one.
Yeah, I don't. We'll see. We'll find
so
out.
that's 3.
Okay.
And then we have them chasing the Flag Smashers. So it's just sort of a mad dash for who can catch who first. So
I love it. It's so fast paced. It's really suspenseful. I don't know where they're gonna go next. I love it. Wakanda is a wild card for me. I don't know where they're gonna go with it. I'm really interested to see what's gonna happen here. I want to see more of Bucky interacting with what we need to hear. What was he doing in Wakanda for all those years?
Right.
I'm really interested with where they're going. Amazing episode in my book. I really enjoyed this one. Can't emphasize that enough. I had a great time watching this one. And like I said, the directing stand out, cinematography stand out, choreography in the fight scenes stand out, acting stand out. It's an amazing episode. That's the way I see it. In my book, it's an amazing episode. Ryan, in your book?
Yeah, a good episode, definitely. There were some positives, some negatives. Wouldn't call it beyond good. Haven't really seen an episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier that I would go to call great yet. So I'm hoping they prove me wrong in the next 2/3 of this series, because right now it's just left me wanting a lot more. So we'll see where they go with it. That being said, like I always say, I'm bought in. I'm not going to stop watching anything from the MCU. So like I said, whether it's a upward trend or we stay level here at that 7 range or head down, I'm watching for the long run.
Yeah, I mean, 7 is still a positive score, not a negative score.
Correct.
Right? Still good in our book, like you said. Ryan's still enjoying it, just has a few things he likes to discuss about it. That's for sure. Yes. And with that said, if you want to hear us discussing some more stuff, we have movie reviews coming your way, right? Wanted to talk about just take a last few minutes here. Sorry, we don't want to keep this going too long, but we got weekly movie reviews starting now. What's the day we've decided, RB?
I believe we said we do it Wednesdays, correct?
Yes, Wednesdays. Yep. Cool. So every Wednesday we'll drop a movie review. Hopefully, if there's a movie that is brand new and we want to get it out right away, but it comes out on a Thursday, of course, we'll just drop that on a Thursday. We'll adapt like that.
Yep.
But we want to make a point of, if there's not a movie that doesn't have a priority, let's drop a movie review every Wednesday. We have a little bit of a catalog of videos we've recorded in the past that we just never uploaded, and we want to put them out every Wednesday, one a week. And of course, the most immediate new movie review we want to release, in the vein of Raya and the Last Dragon, we have one on HBO Max. I definitely want to check out and review Kong versus Godzilla. I want to check this one out and leave a review on top of the list. Let us know what we think. Ryan, I want to know we will, of course, in the episode, we'll talk about what your relationship with the Godzilla films is.
Yes.
And of course, I'll talk about mine as well. So look forward to that as well. Any other ones you want to shout out real?
I mean, I know we're both looking forward to 2 weeks from today, I believe. Mortal Kombat, of course, we've discussed in our video game episodes. I'm a huge fighting game fan. Dom picked up on it a little bit, especially as he mentioned the blood and gore. I mean, that's all about Mortal Kombat. So we're really excited for that one. In fact, may even make our way to the movie theater for that one.
Hey, that would be cool, man.
Yeah. Both of us will be vaccinated at that point. So,
but we'll definitely review it no matter what.
Whether we watch it on HBO Max or over on in the movie theaters.
HBO Max just putting out a lot of heavy hitters too, because shortly after that in May, you guys, we have to look forward to the next big DC film, The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
They dropped a trailer recently. Me and Ryan both watched it and
May
loved
or
it.
August. I thought it was August of this year.
No, it's this summer. It's got to be this summer. It's coming out soon. Oh, June.
Was it June? I thought it was late August. I thought it was like August 29th. I thought it was almost like Labor Day weekend.
Check back next episode and we'll have looked it up. But yeah, the Suicide Squad definitely coming out soon. And I can't think of any other TV shows or reviews at the moment, but of course, we'll try to add them in at the notes at the end for next week.
Yep. And be sure to if you'd like us to review anything, please let us know down in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. And like and subscribe if you want to watch more of our movie reviews coming your way, as well as more weekly The Falcon and the Winter Soldier reviews. With that said, we'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to give us a 5-star review. That's Ryan's part. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. 5-star review on our podcast services, especially with our enhanced audio now.
Enhanced ASMR audio brought to you by Top of the List.
Love that. So on that note, we'll see you all next week. Later, everybody.
Later, guys.